Guys, how are we doing this morning? Well, look, I keep saying this morning, it's afternoon for me, but I think the majority of you guys are US based, I think so. Okay, yesterday. Okay, I don't know if anybody's aware, but I clearly had some issues yesterday. Excuse me. Clearly had some issues yesterday. I ended up blowing my accounts, all my accounts. Morning, what? How you doing? Excuse me. Or afternoon. Nicholas, afternoon. How you doing? So yeah, some of you may know I had some issues yesterday, and I ended up, to cut a long story short, I ended up getting frustrated and blowing my accounts. So it's, you know, it is what it is. It's a learning curve. Patience and probabilities. Yeah. What I've been doing is paying too much attention to the chat and not enough to the chart. And it's affected my trading. I'm letting comments. I'm reading too much into the comments. And it's affecting me trading a bit. Hey, Lucas, how you doing? Gutted for you, mate. Yeah, I was yesterday, but I'm one of those type of people that can bounce back pretty quick. So I had a bit of a down last night. I sunk a few whiskies and I cleared my head. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I've got two evaluations. Now, one, I've just sort of gambled a bit, to be honest with you, just because I was frustrated. So I've got one up to, it's actually a little bit lower than that. I'm one trade away from passing the other one. And the other one is a fresh one starting this morning. So it is what it is. So I'm not gonna moan too much about it. But I think what's happening is I'm looking too much at the chat, and I'm not paying enough attention to my chart. And I think that's what it does. Hey, Jacko, how you doing, bud? Yeah, I'm not paying enough attention to the chat, and that's what's happened, basically. I should be focusing on, I agree, you must use the chart. Yeah, the trouble is, and I don't mean this in a nasty way, and I generally don't. There was a trade I took yesterday. I think it was the first one I took yesterday. Now, I had this drawn, and a couple of people mentioned there was a channel going down there, something like that, which sort of works, but it's sort of sideways. And someone said, oh, there was a second entry short there, you missed that. And when I drew it, I was a bit frustrated, and I hadn't drawn it. Now, we had a breakout of it here. Now, that, one push-up, a red bar, one push-up, that is clearly a hidden second entry short. We had a big bullish bar. Now, I know when we have a break, don't take anything that isn't below the EMA. I know that. But because I just jammed it in there quickly and I decided to jump in, I ended up getting stung. Now, I wouldn't have normally drawn that, see? And when I looked at Marco's chart and Mac's chart, they hadn't. Although it sort of fits, but it's very sideways. You know what I mean? That would have been sort of maybe a better option. But because I sort of... the trouble is, when someone says something, you can't sort of unread it, and you get like that seed planted and you start to doubt yourself. But to me, if I look at that, it's clearly choppy sideways. So if I wouldn't have put that there, I wouldn't have taken that. And I was frustrated and angry with myself for taking it. And it's not anybody's fault. It's my fault. I shouldn't have taken it. Yeah. I don't know whether he did or not. But my point is, I wouldn't have normally done it. I didn't look at Penguin. I wouldn't have normally drawn it because, to be honest with you, it's very sideways, especially this bottom section. Now, unless it's obvious, and that's not obvious to me, I wouldn't have drawn that. That's not an obvious short-term trend. It's come down a bit. It's gone sideways, had a quick push out, come back again, gone sideways. So my point is, I wouldn't have normally drawn that because it's choppy to me. But the trouble is, when you put something in, it's easy to get sucked into a trade, you know what I mean? But I looked at Marco, the two most experienced traders I know, Mac and Marco, and neither of them put that there, and I wouldn't have normally. So it's just I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do, and it's nobody's fault bar mine. And someone else mentioned a trade last week, a channel, and I had something like that drawn up. and then we had a break, and I had another channel drawn up, something like that. So I know we've had a break, and someone mentioned, no, there's another channel if you go from about here somewhere to there, something like that. And then we had a break of it, and I went long and got trapped. So I wouldn't have normally put that myself. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm doing, I'm paying too much attention to the chart, to what the comments are saying, and not enough to what to what I'm doing and what I think's right. And that's no one's fault, because the comments are there for comments, and people are entitled to, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say you can't do this or you can't do that. I was looking at this actually. But it's just part and parcel of it. A few people said to me, "Oh, I'd be careful with the comments and stuff like that." Now, I've got two options. I can actually block the comments and not have comments, but I don't want to do that. So what I've done is, on my top left screen, I've got the YouTube Studio stream, which I've got to have off. Now, right next to that, I have the 10,000 tick chart and the daily. So what I've done is I've just moved those so they'll cover the comments. And then when I click on the stream, the comments will pop back up. So that's all it is. It's my own fault. But the trouble is, sometimes when you read something, it plants a seed and you start to think, oh, should I or shouldn't I, or was it? You know what I mean? I have to say, yeah, it's my fault. And look, it happened. I ended up getting frustrated yesterday, and I carried on. I sort of knew what I did, and what I should have done is, when I was 600 down, I should have just packed in, but I didn't. I had a bit of a bee in my bonnet, and I went on, and then that's my own fault. Just looking at this, actually. I'll break out of this, but let's see if this comes bearish. So it's my own fault. But it's part of it. It's part of the learning. It's part of the lessons. It was never going to be a walk in the park the second I started making some money. It's always going to be testing. You know what I mean? Let's see if we get a bearish buy. I'm aware there's some news. Now, it's going to be a short session today because I have a meeting at the school, like a parents' evening at the school at 4 o'clock. So my stream's going to finish in around about an hour. So it's going to be a short day today. But anyway, to cut a long story short, all I'll do is, when I'm trading, most of the time, I'll just block the comments over with another bit of me chart, and you guys then can just sort of chat amongst yourselves. So anyway, what I'm seeing at the moment is, we had this open and we had this channel. We had a couple of pushes up and a new extreme, and then we went a bit sideways. Now things are looking quite bearish to me. Now we've obviously got this channel here, and I did put a slightly larger one. There's a slightly larger one that could be in play. So I've just put that, and I've just faded it out just in case it comes up to here. If it does come up to here, it's confirmed it then, and just so I'm aware of something. Now we have broken out of this little bit of range here. So market opens in about a minute, so I'm not going to trade here anyway. And then in 15 minutes after that, we got some news. So it's my fault, really, just for what I sort of knew it was happening. I was frustrated when I had that bad day last week, that 2300 loss day. That started with changing my chart because I read a comment. Now, it's not anybody's fault. It's not as much as I want you guys to be able to have the comments, because and I don't want to block them. So it's my fault it's my fault for reading the comments. Really, I shouldn't have done it. It's my own fault. So anyway, let's have a look. See who's in for now. Morning leader loser, Scruffy. Sorry about nice blowing your account. You'll come back. It happens. You'll be in Dubai time. That's my dream. I just need to see, when the stream started and I was having about 15 to 30 people, it was a smaller amount. There was a lot less comment, and I just went from green to green. I had 18 days in a row, and then when the chart grew, I started reading more and more, and there's mixed messages, and it's okay. Market's just opened. We had that breakout and we pulled back in there. So if the market hadn't have opened, I'd have probably took that. But anyway, we're open now. So the target is really to get 2 trades in a day. That's my target. If I get 2 winning trades, I'll either not take any more trades. If it's quick, I'll either not take any more trades or just watch the market and just watch the market and have a little chit chat, and I won't take anything. So it's Just bought 2 hours. Yeah, thanks for that, Asim. I had quite a few yesterday, actually. They just kept popping up. So I appreciate anybody who took that. But it's gone down to 50% now. Now, you're welcome to use that if you want. But my advice to you is wait till there's another 8% off, because I don't think it'll be long. It never seems to go much more than a few weeks. I did look at that. We'd had a breakout of the channel. And we had a bearish bar. And it is looking. We've had a breakout, see, of this overall, this trend we've had since the beginning of last year, and we've had a breakout of it, which seems to be so far coming back in. So whether we'll come in strongly today, who knows? Jim, I was in and out yesterday. It just sounded like the market charged you tuition. Yes, totally would have taken that. If it was, if it wasn't the open, I mean, we're clearly coming down here. I did draw that slightly larger one, and it sort of come up and it's finished a tick, and it did drop below, and we failed to fade the breakouts, don't we? So, but obviously the market was just about to open, and I've taken trades when the market opens before, and what it can sometimes do is stop you out, and then come down in the same direction. So, we have. Let's see what happens here. See what I've got to be careful here, but I'm just going to try and get back to those really good quality trades. So yeah, that's the story anyway. So it is what it is, but it's a lesson, and I'm all right with that. I think every time you learn a lesson, you come back with that little bit of extra knowledge, and I think it only makes you a better trader in the long run. Okay, we got a new high, trying to go once, trying to go twice, possible failure, too far away from the EMA for this, see if this breaks up a bit, but let's see if this, that to me is a hidden second entry short. Let's just see if that does come down. It might not. Okay, to me that's confirmed the channel. Let me just so if you can trade right away, or do you need to set up? You can trade right away, mate. Literally takes less than 5 minutes. So if you go into your Rhythmic, open your Rhythmic, it'll be in your Rhythmic now, and then just open your Ninja Trader, and it'll be down here. So yeah, you can do it straight away. So slow and steady, mate. Don't listen to don't do it like I do it. Slow and steady, yeah. So just take your time, bud, and try and enjoy it. So, right, just for a while now, I'm just going to block the charts while I look at this now. So I'm just going to click it. Right, I've just got my, so you guys can chat among, not block the charts, block the chat, sorry. You guys can chat amongst yourself. Okay, so that to me looks like a trend channel. Literally a tick from the top and turn back down. So we've had a break of it. So whether this will come down or not, I don't know. So, but I am trading 2 evaluations now, just in case anyone knows. I ended up blowing my account yesterday. One of them is a few $100s away from passing. Don't ask me how I did that. Doing something I shouldn't done. But the other one is fresh today. So I'm trading two at the time. So I wanted to, because I still wanted to work on this trade copy and make sure I got all this running nicely. So chat amongst yourselves, and I'll just chit chat as I go along. There is some news in about 10 minutes. So unless I see an absolute sleeper or sitter, I shan't be taking anything. So okay, so we've had a break out of this channel. We've made a new high, but nothing else at the moment. Incidentally, if anybody did use my affiliate code yesterday, I had a load of them pop up. I think I made about $90 yesterday. So I really appreciate that. It's more than paid for my graphics card, so I could stream. So I appreciate that. So if anybody used that yesterday, I appreciate it. Now, if you're desperate for an evaluation, then there is a 50% off one. But my advice is if you can wait, I'd hold on, because usually it never goes about 3 weeks without them doing another 80%. So unless you need one straight away, I'd hold off. I would, but it is there and it's 50% off. But if I was you, I'd sit tight for a little bit longer. I took the one of these yesterday. Well, they still had the 80% off, and if you fail a PA account, you do get an email the following day saying offering you an 80% off. So I picked that other one up this morning. So I've got 2 in the go here. So let's see how we get on here. Certainly looking bearish at the moment. From what I can see, we had a quick push down, we cut our legs up, and we've been coming down ever since. So we've had a break out of this channel, and it seems to be bouncing off the top of the channel. So whether we're going to go up or whether we're going to come down, it's hard to say. But we've had a new high here, and that's the first entry, but it's too far away. And at the moment, it does seem like it's struggling to get through there. So that could be an area where we bounce off and move up, or we could push straight through. It depends how strong the shorts are. But it's stalling a bit there, so it might just bust out the bottom. Yeah, I couldn't have taken that one anyway. It's way too far from the EMA for me, and there's not struggling a bit there, and it's sort of pushing off. It's rejecting off this line, so to take a short there would have been slightly risky anyway, although it is coming down. Get rid of that a minute. Just wondering if this range might be a little better, actually. Let's see if this fits up a little bit more. Yeah, I kind of like that. So okay, touch, 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 touch. So that might be a bigger range. So you fade out the range, but at the moment things are bearish. So if I'm going to be fading, it's going to be from the top and not the bottom, really. It could come up, bounce off here, and then come back down some more. Seems weird not looking at the chat, actually. So just chit chat among yourselves. Yeah, if you'd have taken that one, second entry long, I don't think you'd have got many points out of that. You'd have got 0.5, I think. Fading that. I wouldn't have. I'm not a fan of fading from the bottom when we're in a downtrend. And we've had a new high. Try to go once, try to go twice. Technically a failure, but I would prefer that to be at the same level as that one. So possible second entry short, but it is just choppy at the moment. Although it does seem to be working down. Yeah, so it's a short stream today, guys. I'm going to be at the school for 4 o'clock, so I'll be closing down in around about 50 minutes. So it'll be a short day today, but trading back tomorrow as normal. So. did look at that actually. Possible failure, but I'd have preferred it the same height as that, although when they do usually get back to the EMA, they do tend to get down, but it is congested here. Some news coming, probably why. A lot to do with why that's happening. So, sit on my hands for the next, well, till the market, till the news comes out and we see what goes on there. There's also some medium impact news. I've never really had medium impact news on my chart. I've spoken to people like Daniel and Marco, and I'm pretty sure they just said they have the high impact. But I was trading here about 3 weeks ago and the market had a quick spike, and apparently someone mentioned some Chicago something or other news, which was a medium impact. So ever since then, I've had it on my chart to just to skip that area for a few minutes, just to give it a chance to see if it is going to do something. Okay, so let's have a look at the comments now. Here we go. There we do. How you doing? News coming up 5 minutes. Yeah, that's why I'm sitting out. Hi all. Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? Amazing. Kind of excited, but kind of scared. Seem yeah. Can't make you feel like that, mate. Don't be too hard on yourself. Whatever happens, it's all a process. Excuse me. Yeah, it is a process. Process take time. I've been trading this now for a little over a year and a half, just this style. So it does take time. I'm still, jumping through hoops sometimes, and I'm still struggling from time to time. So it does take time. Somebody mentioned, Max said, when he started making money, it took him about 2 years before things didn't bother him as much. So that means I've probably got 2 years left. But every time you trade, you get a little better and you pick up a few tips and you test those emotions. And the more you test those emotions, the more your mind and your body gets used to them. And but it is a process, and it is a tough process. And it's a process that takes a lot of people out of the game. Not everyone can come back because it can send you to some pretty lonely old places. I've had times where I've blown another account, and I've sat up on the bed with my hands in my head thinking, what am I doing? Should I quit? Should I carry on? But I just seem to be one of those lucky ones that has got a thick skin, and I can take the knockbacks, and I seem to come back. I seem to be able to process them. It takes me about 2 to 3 days. I seem to be able to process them, and I come back enthusiastic and raring to go again. Ray, well done, mate. You did better than me. To be honest with you, I think I was up 2,800 on my P account, and I lost 600. I think what I should have done is stepped away then, but I felt it coming. If that makes any sense, I started getting sort of more and more frustrated. I took a trade that I changed my chart last week and took a trade, and it was the day where I had that big loss. And I was frustrating myself for doing it. And once you get that frustration in your head, for me, it was like taking a trade that I knew I should have waited. So once you get that frustration, it sometimes can act like a big knot in your stomach. And it knots you up and puts you in a frustrating place. But at the end of the day now, the pressure's off now, I suppose. I'm back on a couple of valuations. But if I just play the game like I did when I first started, take the time, not focus on my chart and not too much on the comments, then hopefully, once you've done it once before, and I can clearly trade. Here we go. I can clearly trade. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to build the account up and make some money. But when things get tough, I've got to keep remembering that just because you're making money doesn't mean trading gets easy. It takes time to get that ease. Like someone mentioned, it took Mac 2 years of being consistent. So I've got a bit of time to go yet. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a battle from time to time. But you just got to learn from it, make your mistakes and learn from it. It's spicy. Not too many opportunities. No, not really. But yesterday, just one clear opportunity. Yeah, definitely. The one I took long, I think was the only one I won yesterday, I think. So Okay, so we're going to give this a bit of time to settle down. So I'm going to take off, just cover over the comments just for a time and focus on what I could see. Worked out quite well actually, because I got my two smaller charts covering the comments, so I can just click over in a second. So as you can see anyway, that one is a little bit less than that. I think I'm one trade away from passing the one, and the other ones are fresh. Now don't ask me how I got that up, because I'm you can probably guess actually. Started yesterday with a little bit of frustration, and it finished this morning with a little bit. I just wanted to get one account back up there and get it out of my system. So okay, we seem to have a wider range. We have had this pushed down, but we seem to have pushed out, and we're pushing up a little bit. So no, things are still looking bearish to me at the moment. So maybe we might end up having something like this at the end of the day, part of the way through the day maybe, but this was the open. We've also got yesterday's highs up here and yesterday's lows. Should we reach either one of them? Okay, so we've got this sideways stuff, and we've clearly burst out of it. There is some medium news in another 10 minutes, but that doesn't always seem to have. There is some a little bit of resistance up here. So okay, that seems to fit pretty nice. I think the plan is I've always done well when my first trade wins. I rarely lose then, because I know when I'm up, say $400 or $500, I get extra careful then, and it pays off. So it just goes to show when you are extra careful. But I think what you got to do is do that every time you trade. Be extra careful. So I'm going to take things like lower highs that they're obvious second entries and failures and failed breakouts. But I'm going to just, when it's choppy, I'm just going to stay out and just watch and learn. And then if I can manage to take a winner on my first trade, at least I know if nothing comes up, I'm walking away with about $400. And look, if you can do one great trade a day and get 4 points, $400, that's $2,000 a week potentially on one account. So you times that by 10 accounts, what you can potentially earn, it's plenty. I don't need to rush it or try and do 2 or 3 trades. One trade a day is fine. So if I take my time and manage to get my one a day, then I'll continue to trade for a maximum of another one, but that one will have to be absolutely that obvious that it literally jumps out on a plate and goes, here I am. So there is some resistance up here, which might be why that is stalling a bit. Things are looking bearish to me at the moment. Had this push down, a little bit of break in a new low. We've had a push up, but whether it'll be consistent and carry on, I don't know. But potential second entry long there. But there is some resistance here, and we have only just sort of broken out this downward movement. So I can't see any other. There is a bit of a short-term trend, but then it comes back, it pushes up and goes back again. So this is a push up and a little bit of size, push up and sideways. So that is valid to me. It finishes here, and it's literally finishing nice right the way along there. So we have had a break. Most breakouts fail. If it does come down here, there is a possible 5 points. So there's plenty available if it rises, but this needs to break down here and then push back up. It's no good that. As much as it possibly make a new high, it's just, I just can't take that. Because guarantees every time you leave it, it goes up and makes a new high. The second you pop a trade in there, boom, ticks above, stops you out, comes down. So yeah, I feels better already. I'm looking at the trade and I'm trying to work out what's going on. I'm spending less time flicking over and looking at comments. So this is definitely helping. It's actually bounced off. Let's have a look. It's quite nice there. The body's, it's the top, ticked at the top there, finish at the body there, tick there, nice. It's actually gone through it, come back and bounced right off the top of that. Right off the top of that range. It's literally just come down and touched it to the nearest tick and took off a little bit more, but incidentally, when I was going through all my settings, you'll notice there's a couple of you subscribed this morning. I've got it subscribers only. I was going through different settings and everything last night, and I noticed last week we had some of those bits of spam pop up. So apparently, if you put it to subscribers only, that cuts down the amount of possible spam. So I selected that. So what you'll find is, I don't know how many of you subscribe, but it's, I think to comment, you've got to subscribe. So hopefully that might stop any little bits of spam. Okay, so we've had a break and a new high, and there is some resistance along there. So there's our new high anyway. A little bit of congestion there. So there's nothing you can really do at the moment. Pushed up. Whether we'll end up getting something like this, who knows? But we've had this channel, we've had a break, and we've had two pushes up to a new high. There is some resistance there, but it hasn't really stopped that so much, although it is stalling a little bit. So that's definitely played out. So let's see now whether we come back and go a bit higher and pull into a bigger uptrend, or whether we carry on working down as we've done here for the chunk of the day. Well, this is better actually. I'm not interacting as much. It feels better already that I'm focusing more. Trouble is, if you keep looking off your chart every 5 minutes or every minute or something, you're not going to be concentrating as much. And keeping my chart how I sort of feel it fits feels better. So hopefully, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I did consider just stopping comments because you can set them, but I wanted you guys to be able to chat amongst yourselves because it kind of makes trading a little less boring sometimes. So, but it's my fault. It's my fault for paying too much attention to things when I should really be focusing on what I'm doing. Just wondering whether sort of is a bigger range working there. Sort of looks like it in a way, doesn't it? And that sort of pushed out of it and come back. So could be a bigger range working there, although it's a little bit sideways, coming down to the bottom, a little bit up. But to be fair, until we've got back to here, I notice the reason I'm thinking that is because that is reacting to that. We've gone up and we stopped there. We went above it, came back and closed above it, and the same there, and then pushed strongly back. Most breakouts fail. So that could be a bigger picture there, although there's nothing in the middle. So it might be, and it might not. It might just be just that there's a little bit of resistance, and there was a little bit of resistance turned into support, and then obviously the shorts took over, which pushed then through the support. So it might be a bigger thing. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be fantastic. I think at the moment we've just reacted to this this bit of support and resistance over this side, but we've come down quite strongly now. Certainly thinking bearish from what I'm seeing. And now on the 10,000 tick chart, we've had this little bit of down, we've pushed up, we've made a new low, we've had a couple of pushes up, and we've strongly pushed down below the EMA. So whether we are coming down and this is going to turn into a bigger channel, it's possible. But these are all just thoughts. I'm going to bring this over because that's bounced right off that midline. So we have had this channel, we've had a break, we've made a couple of pushes up to a new high, pushed down strongly, so whether we'll come back up. That may be 2 legs down, so let's pop a little fix there for now. There's definitely a bearish bias. Push down a little bit of sideways, a couple of pushes up and come back down. See what happens now. See if we come back up to the top of here or the EMA and push down again. In which case, then there may be a bigger overall trend. Let's just strongly down. Look, actually that fits really nice there, doesn't it? Started here, right at the top. I've dragged that down and look at that. Bottoms are sitting perfectly on there. So whether that'll turn into a bigger trend, who knows? But at the moment, I'm going to keep it out. If we come back up here, then I might redraw that one, and we'll see where we come here. So, but it fits kind of nice. We started here, went right there. As soon as you drag it down, it fits beautifully on there. But let's keep it out the picture for now. So we've had this short-term trend channel. We had a break, didn't get back to the EMA, nowhere near it. We had a little slightly green candle, more on the doji side, and then strongly down. So whether we'll push out of this bottom or whether we will bounce off this, hard to say. But that's pushed strongly down, that has. Let's see if it holds up here. This could be what I marked earlier. It's possible we could have something like this. It'd be nice if we could. It's not as far down as I thought, actually. What is that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's a little bit over 30 points. So that might be one leg down. We may get another leg down, we'll see. Let's get rid of it for now. But yeah, this feels much better. This is how I should be looking at the chart, just focusing on what's going on. Okay, we've had a break of this, 2 legs down to a new low. Now, things are looking quite bearish for me, so I probably, although you could call that a triple test, and I'm not that confident with taking that off the bottom line because it's extremely bearish, and I expect it maybe to come down a bit more, but there probably are those that will trade that as a second entry long. But it's that bearish there that I'd just be a little bit worried. It's probably going to come up, but it's not a trade I would normally. I'm trying to get away from picking bottoms because I've had a lot of luck with them. Now, there's probably going to be some of you guys who took that, but it just went so bearish. I'd rather sort of try and get it back on the way down if we are coming. You got out of that. Yeah, you'd have probably got 2 3/4 points. You may have got 3 if you, depending how close you got to it. But trouble is with me, I go for 3 and 3.5, so I'd be waiting for it to come back to here. Now I'll be shitting a brick about now, because it's definitely got a bearish feel to me. And I bet there is some longs in there. If that does drop below there, then I fancy that for down some more. I do. But we've had this good, strong, well, I say strong, had this consistent drop down. We had a bit of a breakout this smaller channel. We've come down a little bit of sideways, come down to the bottom of here, push up, break, a couple of pushes up to a new high, strongly rejected it straight through the EMA, straight into this trend, range. And now we're sort of sidewaysy a bit on the bottom, but if I was a gambling man, I'd say this is likely going to continue down just on but I don't gamble. It's a possible second entry short there, but it is a little bit too close to that midline for my liking. But when it has come down, it has respected that midline, and I am thinking bearish. Now, this is a little bit sideways, so you could call it fade to breakout. Let's see if it does go up a little bit. We've had a push down there. I do expect something in the way of a second leg. I do expect something like that. So whether it'll do it sharply or that, I don't know. But let's see what happens. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. Possible second entry short if that pushes out the top of this little, because there's definitely some sideways stuff there. It's definitely struggling a bit there. If we can push up, get above the EMA, and then come back down and finish bearish around here, then I think there's certainly 5 points or near enough in there. I'd expect to run it down to the bottom. But I am aware that midline's there, so if it does push up and closes below that midline and at the top, then that may be something I'm interested in. We've come off this bottom, first entry, second entry, possible failure. But as I say, things are looking bearish for me at the moment. I think if it manages to get through here, I can see quite a strong push down, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some longs there coming off that bottom channel. So if we break below there, I expect a push down. There we go. There's definitely some shorts there. So the trouble is, I'd have loved to have taken something here with this because I expect another leg down, but there's just no entry really, is there? So this is kind of what I expected. Something like this. Whether it goes down as steeply as this, I don't know, but that's what I'm expecting. But there's just nothing. No entry. That wasn't bearish enough and it wasn't close enough. So there may be a bigger channel working down here. I'm just going to pop that there for a minute because it fits lovely along here. Just see where this turns. See if it pushes through, in which case I'll get rid of that. Let's just sort that out. See what happens if it comes down to this bottom, because it is fitting quite nice along there. I know we've only hit the top, so it hasn't really been confirmed. But it'd be just interesting to see what it makes of this bottom line. Okay, we did have some Richmond Manufacturer Index news, but it didn't really seem to do much. So we're out the way of the news anyway. So okay, back to the EMA, see what happens here. We push strongly above the EMA. Let's see if we can push down and maybe have a lower high off the bottom of this range to take us lower. Okay, so if we push through this EMA, ideally push through here, pull back a little bit, but okay, that's a push higher, so it's going to be a failure if anything, but it may have a couple of legs up, might come back and retest this top, or it might break out. It's hard to say at the moment, it's a little bit sidewaysy. It closed right at the top. Let's have a look. Where's this touching? That's not too bad, I suppose. Oh, strong, strong, strong. So let's get rid of that for the time being until we get up here. Let's just put that. Just put that there. I don't want to confuse the picture at the moment. See if it does bounce off that area. Okay, we're going to push up. We've had a break and made a new high. Just under the middle line of this larger trend. Maybe we're going to retest the top. A little bit of support there on whether we're going to come back up here. It's hard to say at the moment. I think that theory of that is gone anyway for now. There's definitely some resistance around here. Around where it is now. It does seem to be. We're going to push down a little bit of sideways, push up a little bit of sideways, push up a little. So there definitely is some congestion around this center line, or just above this center line of this range. And when it does go up, it tends to go sideways. Come down, sideways. It's gone up, sideways. So let's see if it does come up to here, or indeed a bit higher. What I'd like is for it to come up to here and reverse down strongly, because that then would fit my bigger range, bigger trend channel. Okay, come up to here. Let's see what happens now. Probably draw a big A. Big A. So if it comes up to the top here. I wasn't expecting that. Let's remove that. I don't really think that's going to fit now without an overshoot. It's a bit too early in the day to draw a channel like that, isn't it? It's more on the rangy, sidewaysy, choppy stuff at the moment. Okay, so there's a lot of support. There's a lot of resistance here. That's what I would class as a failed breakout. Same as that. Coming back in, but just don't really want to get into that at the moment. It didn't tick higher than that, really. So it wasn't a great bearish bar to have the confidence to come back in. I don't think this fits anywhere else, really. Actually, that doesn't fit too bad. It touches here. It's not far off the bodies there. Fits nice there. You could say that was a little breakout, followed by one down here. So that looks probably as good as any. So let's see where we come back to down here. That's by the by anyway, that is now. Let's move that away. It probably is a bigger all trend, but we've had a break out of it anyway. Going to bring this over because there's definitely some resistance there. There's some support here. Sorry, resistance here. There's some support along the top, so we have pushed down. We had a first entry. Trouble is, by the time it pushes down, second entry, the last thing I really want to be doing is going short just down here, I think. Could be a break and a new low, or it could just as much fits there, actually. Yeah, it's quite nice there. Sorry about the dogs in the background. There's just kids from school coming past, making a bit of a ruckus outside. See this? It's sort of doing something similar to this. And when we had a break, it just... The EMA, looks like the EMA wasn't even there. Yeah, as I say, I'm going to have to cut this short in about 10 minutes because I've got a thing at school. So it's going to be a short day. Definitely seems to be that bigger range in play. See what happens when we get down here. See, there's two schools of thought here, isn't there? Could be two breakouts there, but to be fair, fits quite nice here. Fits quite nice there. Fits quite nice there. So I'd say it's probably there. Okay, trying to go on strike rise. There is a break above here. That is a possible fail second entry, but you just can't take that nowhere near there. Way, way too far away from the EMA, that is. And that is a bit of an overshoot anyway, so. I've just got to keep in mind, because sometimes you feel there's pressure under you to make a trade. But really, all you've really got to do is take one good trade a day. If that's all you get, if I average 4 points on a trade, $400 a day, that's $2,000 a week just from one great trade a day. You'll always find one good trade. But sometimes I feel the pressure to get in quick and get a trade when I'm thinking if I see it for 4 hours, there's plenty of time, isn't it? So I've got to keep that in mind, that take your time. Wait for a good setup. If you get a great setup and you take that one trade, you can walk away $400 up. And if you do that once a day for a week, it's $2,000. You times that by 5 accounts or 10 accounts, you're talking serious money. So, sometimes I feel like I've got to get a lot of trades and a lot of points, but really 1 to 2 trades a day is ample. If you only get one, great. If you get 2, but the thing, what I usually do is if I take a trade and a winner is my first one, I get extra cautious then. And I don't think so far on record that after a winning trade, I don't think I've lost one if I get one on my first one. So often that's a good starting point, that, because the last thing you want to do, I hate giving money back. It's when I seem to take a loser that things get a bit precarious for me. So I've got to keep that in mind. That all I need is one a day. If I can get one a day, great. Okay, there is a possible fail second entry short. Trouble is we've had a bit of an overshoot in here, so that can lead to an overshoot the other side, possibly a reversal. I don't think it will, because we've had this push down, and this to me is the first push down, a little bit of sideways. I'd say it's more likely going to go down, but until I can see something worth taking, and that, just the way it's come down and pushed back up to a degree, even though it is a failure, hasn't triggered anyway. And it is, this midline is playing a part. It's holding prices here, it's supporting prices here, and it's sort of one tick and it's bounced off. Certainly looking bearish. Let's see if we can get another second entry. So that is a failure and it's triggered. So I'd say that's, yeah, it's not the ideal bar, is it, for me, I don't think. Something tells me to leave alone. So I'm going to listen to my initial instinct. If something doesn't look right, leave it alone. It's probably going to come down. I'd expect it to, but just because we've had this overshoot. Trouble is, what's concerning me is prices are being held by that midline. Although it smashed straight through it. It is a failure. It's just the way it came down, touched and pushed up to agree. That makes me nervous. Sometimes I'm thinking, okay, so we've got a push up, it'll pull back and a push up again. And sometimes if I take those, I'm worried about they're going to trigger and come a little bit higher before they come down. So it's not the ideal signal bar. Certainly not for me anyway. Would you have got off that? It went for about 4.25, so you'd have got 4 points out of it. Trouble is, if I'd have taken that, I'd have expected it to come down here. I just don't like the fact that there's that midline there. I'd have probably still been holding there, so. I'm probably going to get the nod soon that I'm going to have to shoot off for this school meeting. So I will say my goodbyes before I exit. Yeah, it's still coming into play, this is. And I expect it to come back down. And it's tempting to take that, but it's not really a setup, is it, as such? That's only a first entry. Although we've come down and we've had a couple of pushes up, it's only a first entry, and if I'm going to make this work, I've got to play it by the book. And as bearish as that looks, and as it's bounced off the top of this, although it's not gone bearish now, let's see if we can get a lower high. Still just don't like the fact that this is here. And it is sideways and choppy at the moment. I may come back and trade after this school meeting. I'll see. I'll see how I feel. Okay, so this is played out. We had this bit of an overshoot. We've had a break this side and made a new low, and it's pushed up above the EMA. It does look like it's coming towards the top, but it hasn't come down, so I'm not sure whether it may come down. But that's certainly nowhere for me to trade anyway. So it's going to be more sitting and waiting for me. But that line, the top of that longer sort of range, is being respected. It's holding prices. Holding it here, here. 4 places here so far, a couple of places here, once here. So it's definitely playing a part. If that broke above there a little bit and then came down, then I'd be maybe thinking about a second entry short, but it is choppy there. It would have to break out here and then come right down for me to be interested in that. There's probably going to be some longs there. Let's see if it triggers and comes down. It's just a bit too choppy for me. Okay, see if this comes down or whether it indeed pushes up. Right, guys, I'm going to have to shoot. I've just had the nod. I'm going to have to go and take care. So let me just get the comments on there. Right, okay. Okay, I'll have a look at these comments later anyway. So cheers, guys. I appreciate it. It's working better, actually, me not looking. I just cover them up. It's working much better for me. So, look, so have a great day. I might pop back later, but obviously I won't be recording it. So have a great day. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, guys. Anyway, I've got to go and take some care of school business. So I will catch up with you all. I'll be trading here for sure tomorrow, but I may do a little bit later. See how things are going. But at the moment, it's sidewaysy, sort of downish, but it's too sidewaysy to think about down. So yeah, cheers, guys. Take it easy, and I will catch up with